Baby, see how I've been living. Velvet curtains on the windows too. Keep the bright and unforgiving light from shining through. Baby, I remember all the things we did when we slept together in the blue behind your eyelids, baby. Sweet baby, traced your scent through the glue till I found these purple flowers. I was spent, I was soon smelling you for hours. Lavender, lotus blossoms too. Water the dirt, flowers last for you, baby. Sweet baby. Tangerines and persimmons and sugar cane. Grapes and honeydew melon, enough fit for a queen. Lemon trees don't make a sound till branches bend and fruit falls to the ground, baby. Sweet baby. Come to my world and witness the way things have changed. Yes, I finally did it, babe. I got out of LaGrange, got in my Mercury and drove out west. Pedal to the metal and my love to the test, baby. Sweet baby, I've been trying to enjoy all the fruits of my labor. I've been crying for you, girl, but truth is my savior. Baby, sweet baby, if it's all the same, take the glory any day over the fame, baby. Sweet baby, I've been trying to enjoy all the fruits of my labor. I've been crying for you, girl, but truth is my savior. Baby, sweet baby, if it's all the same, take the glory any day over the fame, baby.
Hello?
Sweet baby.
It's good. I can hear you.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
How are you?
Yep, I hear you.
Good.
All right. Yeah, we had a little moment of silence there for our YouTube people. They got a special little treat listening to a song by one of my buddies. But we're all live here now. I appreciate everybody coming in. If I do put you on mute, it's only because we're having some echoes or something. But I'll try to let everybody know if that is the case. So again, thank you all for joining us. This is the third live Gray Stage stream here, just talking about the David Crowley case. We're going to try to keep this to about an hour. I try to keep each one to about 60 minutes. I have failed every time, so we'll see how close we can actually get here. But thank you all for joining us. I know we have Catherine.
Yep, I'm here. Yay!
All right. Catherine, anything you thanks we saw your latest video there, and I thought it was really really good. Glad to have you back in. Are you feeling better?
Oh, thanks. Trying to get there. Yeah,
Okay.
day by day.
One day at a
But
time.
I was very cranky in that video. And I just, it's just sometimes when I see certain people's names, and I'll try not to because he just makes me so mad. I just lose it.
Greg Fernandez Jr. Okay.
He'll probably take immense pleasure from that statement right there.
I'll give him all the pleasure he wants too. Come here, buddy.
Hey, now this isn't that type of show.
No, not that kind of pleasure. No, thank you. No. Definitely not my cup of tea.
I don't know if your heart can handle it.
I know, right?
Could be spoken for. So.
Oh, God, you guys are too funny.
That's all your fault. We also have Sophia. You're here too, right?
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for
Hello.
joining us. Anything new in your research on this case? I know you got a few things on your plate that you're going to be looking into, but anything pressing right now, or anything you'd like to bring up?
Not that I can talk publicly about right now.
Oh, teasing us. Okay. Nice little tease there.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy to share eventually.
Okay, good. Good. Well, we know you've done some great stuff, and anybody can go back and check out some of the videos that you've done with us and a lot of the various topics that you've covered. We also have Pansy here. Pansy, how are you?
I'm here.
All right. Thank you for joining us again. Any questions, any topics, anything you want to say before we get rolling here?
No, not until we get started.
Okay. And we have Justin has also joined us here. Justin, how are you?
Hey, Craig. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Justin, anything you want to say about this case?
For the research material that I provided to you, currently right now I'm just trying to get a link together so I can post it in the chat to the conference call so anybody can download the material once we start discussing it.
Excellent. And then I think we have Christine has joined us too. Christy, I'm sorry. Hey, Christy.
Yeah, and I'm a newbie, but this has really grabbed a hold of me. Like, the only thing I can explain is that the board has put it on me, because I can honestly say I had never heard of the case, and I watched the documentary, and as I was watching the documentary, I was like, something's off. So as soon as I watched the documentary, I started researching, and it has grabbed a hold of me like something I can't believe. And I have just been devouring everything, going, oh no, this is so wrong. There is something seriously wrong. I mean, we don't have IQs of 53. I mean,
speak for yourself there.
You
I
would
take
have to have
I
that.
take pride in my low IQ. No, just kidding.
Hey, I have an IQ of 54.
Yeah, I'm 53.5. What are you talking about?
There you go. Yay.
Well, I don't know if the actual criteria would be to actually believe them, but it might be lower than 53. But may be beyond the human species.
Wow, that says a lot. What
But
has
that's
brought
how I
you?
feel about it.
Yeah, what has brought you to this case?
Like I said, I get led a lot by the Lord. I mean, I know everyone has different beliefs and everything, but I go where I feel I'm led. And as I was saying, as I was watching the documentary, I was just going, no, this isn't right. This is not right. There is something sketchy going on with this whole thing. They're painting a picture, and like I said, because I didn't know anything about him, and because I got just such a odd feeling from watching that, I think is what has really grabbed me, because there's just something in me that passionately says there's absolutely no way he did this, and I believe in justice, and I just think it is a travesty that his legacy, regardless of what anyone else wants to believe about him or his beliefs or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what kind of person he was. I don't look at things that way. I just look at it like, if it's a lie, then it needs to be revealed. It's wrong. And that's how I feel about it, and that's why I've just gotten so passionate about it, because I'm just that way with anything. If something's wrong and unjust, I just get riled up.
So you basically felt like you were lied to throughout that whole documentary.
Oh, I felt like it was just a complete joke. Yes, exactly. I felt like it was scripted. I felt like it was like every reality show you've ever watched in your life. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, is this not scripted? You know, and there's people out there that believe those are real. You know, and I hope none of you do.
My daughter's watching Dance Moms right now, and I'm like, you do realize that's reality TV. It's all scripted. Because she gets so passionate about it. And I just have to roll my eyes at her.
It's just, they're all basically soap operas, and I kind of felt like that's what this was. It was like this drama unfolding, and they were, you know, leading to a certain direction, and I really read people's body language, and especially eyes. I really look at a person's eyes. And when I was watching it, I was looking at certain people's eyes and going, they're hiding something. They know something, they're hiding something. And just, you know, the drama and the build up and the crescendo, and then, I think I heard someone else, I know who it was. It was the medium that said she had the exact same feeling that I had. I was like, and my poor husband, he's having to hear about this constantly. But I was telling him, I was like, why on earth the dog at the end of the documentary? I mean, they make it like it's walking off into the sunset happy. It was just so disturbing. It just, and then the other thing is when, of course I went back and I watched it multiple times after that, because I was trying to like pick up on other things and watch people even more closely. And it's just, there are certain people that they're movie people, and There's a reason they say certain things end up on the cutting room floor. They basically splice together certain things to paint the picture that they wanted painted. They didn't show every single thing, and that's what I believe is so wrong about that documentary, is the fact that they only picked and chose what they wanted there. And it just made me sick that his dad didn't even defend him. I was just like, that's just unbelievable. That, I mean, as a parent, if the evidence was like right there in my face, I think it would be hard for me to accept and believe. I would come to a point if it was so blatant, but it would still be hard to accept. That's the thing about families and tragedy and death and things like that. A lot of times families, when it actually is something that's true, they go into denial mode and they start looking for other causes because they don't believe that that person could have possibly committed suicide or that that person could have possibly committed that crime. So they start looking and seeking out, even though it's not real. But for him, with all of these holes in this, to go on there and not defend his child, to just, that made me sick. And also, after looking at it a couple of times, and then when I started researching, I was like, okay, what's the timeline of his mother passing away and this documentary being made? Does anyone know?
His mom died, 8 months after?
Yeah, it
No.
was 7 or 8 months after. But yeah, we can definitely talk about that. But Greg, I'm going to make you stick to the hour. We're 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay, Christy. I'm just giving Greg a hard time.
I just don't understand why they didn't mention the mom in the documentary.
Oh yeah,
that's
that
the only
bothered
thing
me
I was
too.
putting out there.
Yeah, I don't even think they showed her.
Weird.
They didn't even show her in the movie, did
No. Nope.
they? The other thing was,
it wasn't until
go ahead.
because it wasn't until I got into the group after I watched the documentary that I even knew that his mother had passed away. I thought that she just wasn't a part of the picture at all.
It must have been about 4 or
wasn't-
5 months afterwards because she was still. I think when she died, I don't think the case had been closed yet.
It was 5 months. I just read it
5 months.
yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing about his dad is, did his dad, is there a quote, I guess, what I would look for, is there a quote where the dad says that his son is guilty? I've only watched the documentary once, so it's hard for me to go back and look at that.
No, he just doesn't defend him.
Right.
No, and then he reads the last page of the supposed journal, which is really just the script, where it says, after he's done writing his notes about Christmas, David goes in and shoots Camille and Rania.
Wow.
And then he just puts the script down. He doesn't say anything else after that.
That's
And
odd.
I'm just like, how could you read something like that about your son?
And see, there was
Maybe
a conflicting thing there too, because it almost seemed like, I don't know if it was a slip or whatever, but when he was reading that, he said, that he had made plans beyond the holidays in what he was journaling and stuff. So I found that strange too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Greg, where should we start do you want to start from the very beginning on the 488 pages?
Yeah. For surely here. Pulling it up right here. If you're watching it on YouTube, you'll see it here. So page 1 is just, the one pager. This is just basically what we asked for here. Blah blah blah, their response, whoever it is. Page 2 through page 52 is the evidence chain. I thought there was a lot of good. I'm not going to go over it. I'm probably going to skip these first 52 pages. There's a lot of stuff here. One thing that I noticed, I think looks like around page. Oh no, that comes in a little bit later. But if anybody wants to see, this pretty much shows you start to finish what they did with each item and when. So this really helped me with some of those dates that I was trying to figure out about. Okay, 1A is the pistol. This is when it got to them. And the chain of custody, this is the chain of custody for the BCA. So this is when they got it. So I don't know. On 1/18/2015, the laboratory received from a crime scene collection. And then it goes through all of these items. So again, unless anybody has any specific things on the first 52 pages there, I'm going to go ahead and skip that.
Okay.
Go down to 52. All right. 52. How do you do? So 53. One thing I noticed, I think, or somewhere around here on page 53, is they say that nobody has been charged in this. And that really stuck out. I thought that was an interesting one. For anyone that doesn't know, we're going through the BCA 488-page data file. This is the most recent file that we got. And there's a lot of interesting data in here. A lot of this stuff, when I was first writing my book, I did not get to put a lot of this in there. So what I've been doing in the last week or so, and what I'm going to probably end up doing for the next couple weeks, is going back through these documents and just adding in a lot of these little tidbits. I posted a few in the group too, so we'll see how far we can actually get to discussing those. Now, this thing about the beast, right? It says, I will put a note in the beast. And the beast is just like a big database, right? Have you guys heard of this before?
Yeah, I mean,
No.
that's what I would assume, is that, yes, it's their database, their data bank.
Yeah, I remember Alex Jones talking about this long time ago, and I was like, what is this guy talking about, the beast? But it's supposed to be this like big database. So it's real. It's all real. All right. Anything so far here? Let's see. I'm just going to go page by page through this. At some point, we're going to slow down a little bit. But here on page 55 is the only mention of the FBI. Even though we were told that the FBI was not involved in this at all. They weren't involved in the investigation, etc., etc. Here you have the FBI and the staties too, right? That's what Christopher Olsen looks like. He's a state cop, state.mn.us. So that was so even though
they only come.
That the state cops weren't involved.
Right. The state cops told us that, right? We had nothing to do
and
with this.
The only thing that they contacted the FBI for was David's fingerprint card, and they didn't even get the original. They got a copy, and the FBI told them that if they wanted or needed the original to make sure that they got a good comparison, just to contact them and they would be happy to send it, but they never did.
Right. You're right. Yep. It says, "Hey Chris, this is
May
from."
I ask?
Go ahead.
Because I haven't seen any talk about this. Did they use luminol at all?
It wasn't luminol, it was something called amino black, and it does the same thing.
Oh, okay.
I can make this a little bigger. Yeah, good question. I mean, these are a lot of questions that people ask, and there are people that want to ask these questions but don't want to get, they don't want to feel stupid. And I just want people to know there are no stupid questions, and people should not make you feel dumb just because you ask a question. And just because somebody answers your question doesn't mean that they're trying to make you feel dumb either. So I just want to cover both of that basis. We're all just talking here. It's the people that kind of sit back and like laugh at these questions, like, what? Why would they ask that question? All that's like, come on. We're just regular people. I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm not an investigator. I don't know anything about this. I'm learning as I go here. So I do try to be careful not to assume too much either, not to assume that other people are wrong too much either. So it's just kind of this balancing act for somebody like me, is just a complete outsider looking in here. So technically, the FBI was involved. So technically, they lied. But whatever, they could say they weren't involved in the investigation. Whatever you want to say. Okay. So from Chris
Well,
Olson.
technically the state was involved too.
Right. I know, right?
But they denied me twice, so go figure.
That's odd. Joe Cooksley wrote, "Hey Chris, I talked to Marty in Leighton Prince. He said he thinks this can be used for comparison, and that if the actual card is needed, that it could be requested at a later time." Joe. So, could have been. And that looks like that was 122.
Well, and this is what makes me so angry, because the latent prints are huge, and they just kind of toss them around as if they don't really make much difference in the case. And, Marty thinks they can be used, and if they need the card, they could request it later, but they never do. And then they say the latent prints on the copy were not, and then supposedly not legible, or they couldn't read what they pulled, and they couldn't compare it to the card. And I'm like, there's some pretty good ridge detail, excuse me, on some of those prints. And it's like, how could you not match it or not match it? One of the two. And why didn't you get the original card?
That would have been nice.
Well, because the ridge detail was pretty clear, my only guess for why they couldn't match it was because it didn't match
right
to what they had. I mean, that's just an assumption, though. I'm not
right.
stating a fact. It's just an assumption.
Right.
And let's be honest here. David and Kamel and Rainey's fingerprints should be all over that house. All over the crime scene. Well, not the crime scene, but if David was setting up the crime scene after he supposedly killed Kamel and Ronnie, his fingerprints should be there. His DNA should be there.
Yep.
But it's not.
Nope.
Yep.
Scrolling down. Let's see, we are going to go to...
Oh, and I want everybody to know, too, and I'm going to be covering this as well in the next video I do on the latent prints. But I have contacted the BCA several times and asked them for a copy of the prints that they pulled from the crime scene, wherever they got them from. And I specifically asked for some that they didn't include, some they gave us, some they didn't, and they have not even written back to tell me to go jump off a cliff. They've just ignored all the requests. Even though I sent an FOIA request, it has been completely ignored.
It took them months to even respond to my request where we got this information that we're looking at right now. I sent it off in March, and I don't think we got it until, what was it, Bragg? Was it September or October?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they finished processing that request, like a month before we received this information, did I even get an email.
September.
I thought that I was being ignored.
Yeah, I got mine back September 20th, 2018. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll give them a little more time then.
Give them another year. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
How dare you?
I tried to warn you about that, Catherine, that the BCA will take forever.
Girl, I have hardly any memory of what happened several months ago. It's like, so just keep refreshing my memory and telling me what you've told me before, because it's like hearing it for the first time.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Here on page 57, and if anybody wants to say anything, feel free to go ahead and jump in here any time. It's fine. We're all just chatting here. We're looking at page 57 of 488, and this is from Tommy Booth. This is sent to Catherine Roach of the DPS. That's another interesting group of characters. DPS says, Good morning, Catherine. Nobody has been charged in this case, so I am giving you permission to use up some evidence in its entirety for DNA analysis. If you need anything else, please feel free to contact me. Thanks for all your hard work. Tommy Booth. And I thought that was, again, another interesting thing there because haven't charged anybody. Well, yeah, of course you haven't charged anybody. Who are you looking for? Who could be charged? Could they charge David?
Right, and the funny thing is when you start putting all of these pieces together, because you have the police chief being quoted in the news article stating that they knew within 2 hours David was guilty, and then somewhere else where they knew in 2 weeks or a month or whatever that he was guilty, and now we have a month later, and Tommy Booth is saying, well, nobody's being charged, so use up everything for your DNA test.
Now, you were able to talk with the person who said that David was charged within hours, right? And you were able to get them to confirm that?
I talked with was it Detective Sergeant Gummert, and that video is posted on my YouTube channel. But the police chief himself. Oh wait, no, I know what you're talking about now. Okay. Oh geez, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to catch up here. But yes, I was talking to
Nick
someone who heard it directly.
Okay.
Are you talking about Nick?
Well, no, these people, they didn't want to be tied to it. They're tied to it, but they're not tied to it. So I gave them my word that I wouldn't let anybody know who they were. But they were somebody who specifically talked to that police chief. And so, yeah. I mean, he said it. But it's like, okay, so what did you do? Were you convinced within 2 hours? You didn't even have your happy hiney over there by that time, and you knew before you got there he was guilty, or did you not know a month later? What is it?
Well, does that tie into? I don't even know if this is accurate or not, but I heard that the neighbor actually said that she believed that David had killed his family and killed himself. Can anyone verify whether that is actually true?
In the 911 call, are you talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
She speculates. I mean, she says it was either there was a murder or a suicide next door. And then she starts speculating on the dog, that the dog might have eaten these bodies. It's just like the whole thing just sounds just weird. And
that's weird. That's very weird.
I thought
sounds like
weird.
She's starting to paint the picture
Right.
before anyone else even gets there.
Yeah.
Or as I've stated in the past, it was like she was handed a script.
Right.
And let me please say it again. It was like she was handed a script. Because we all know who listens to this.
Well, it
Correct.
was a bad script, so whatever you want to call it. It was.
Yeah, seriously.
And there's no
Well,
no need to speculate on that. Go ahead, Pansy.
It's about like they took her word for what she thought she knew and went on that.
Well, I'm glad they let civilians do the police work for them.
Yeah, I guess we don't need cops over there. They got it covered.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
Don't worry.
I'm sorry, I
Okay,
didn't hear
neighbor.
what Pansy said.
Just ask a neighbor, and neighbor can tell you everything.
Okay, Justin, you haven't said anything.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm just, I noticed y'all been discussing the evidence, and everything that I have pertinent is public record after the incident. So I just kind of waited for y'all to put forward what y'all have to put forward. I don't want to kind of steal your thunder, so to speak.
Oh, that's okay.
No, please steal
Go for
away.
Go for it.
Yeah.
We
Greg
can
has-
believe me.
He
We're
has
gonna.
13 minutes left.
Okay.
That's not
Well,
gonna happen. We all know that. Go ahead, Justin.
all right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post a Dropbox link in the YouTube chat so all of you can download what I have found. Pretty much what I've been doing is I've been scouring every possible aggregator of information, such as Intellius or Spokio, which Spokio really isn't that good, but Intellius just kind of went down the toilet too in the documents they provide now. There has actually been a few changes to the public records of Kamel and David after their deaths. Rihanna will have a public record as soon as she reaches 18, even though she is deceased. So, I mean, that's
Interesting.
something to look out for in the future.
I didn't know that.
You generally,
Did you notice
I'm
that
sorry.
on Intellis? Did you notice on Intellis that they weren't considered dead?
Not anymore. No, they've completely changed everything.
Wow. Screenshots.
All the other
Screenshots.
backgrounds that I've used say that David and Kamal are dead, but I used Intellis and it didn't show it at all.
Yeah, it showed him as still alive, and we have copies of that too. So you might find that interesting. That was just a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I think 2 months ago.
that's
Yeah.
when I did the search as well. Intellius, though, they've completely changed their UI, and I think they lost some of the information in their change. So it still reflects that, though, but it's very, very watered down as opposed to what it was before.
Really?
Wow.
Let me see here. I'm trying to get a link for this Dropbox folder. I just created this account today, so bear with me while I do that, if you would kindly.
Sure. Yeah, I know Justin's been. Justin has kind of brought up some of those same things. He and I were kind of going back and forth, and I don't know if he wants to talk about his background or not. I'll leave that to him. But basically, yeah, he was showing me the stuff and same stuff that you guys are talking about. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, why are they still alive here? Or why is this website or whatever it is, whatever Intellis is? I know it's been brought up a few times. I have no intelligence, so I don't know what Intellis is. But I do know that I keep hearing the same thing, and it's like, okay, now it's kind of watered down. What does that mean? Does that mean that they're finally catching up? We're gonna come back in a couple months, and they're finally gonna see that they're dead, or I don't know. I mean, you couple that in with all of the other things, and it just your mind can kind of start to wander, I guess, is what I found with myself. And the only thing that I
Did
kept
they
go ahead.
did they have life insurance policies?
I don't know. I haven't heard of any. I haven't seen any, but I don't know how we could verify that. What would
Which
need
would
to
be
be done?
interesting with him being retired military. I mean, I know you can get rid of it when you break away, but I mean, it's unusual.
If
When
he
David
Because
did,
he's
left
retired military, so
yeah.
when he left the military, he had life insurance. I don't know if he continued to pay into it.
Interesting.
yeah, that's what, I think you can continue paying into it, but I'm not 100% certain.
But doesn't that
That's something I just was curious about.
doesn't that kind of, I don't know about this. I'm just asking, but doesn't that cancel it out if he kills himself?
It depends on the clause in the policy. Certain
Okay.
policies have a suicide clause. Other ones have a certain time frame, so that you don't just go get like $1 million life insurance policy and then off yourself.
Right.
So I mean, some policies have a clause where there's a time frame. Some have a flat, suicide clause, and then other ones don't have a suicide clause
Is
at all.
is
Like
that stuff
my
public
husband
record?
doesn't have a clause.
Is that
I
stuff
don't
public
know.
record or not? I don't know either.
That's what I'm curious about. I just thought of it.
It's a good question.
If it were, I'm pretty sure if such an amount of money had been moved, I'm pretty sure the police department themselves would have had something in a statement about it. I don't believe I've read anything like that in the evidence. They would, the police department, Apple Valley Police would have definitely had the means to find that information. Would it have happened?
True.
And they took all their personal paperwork and nothing was ever mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we know that the house went into foreclosure, and then was they put it up for sale at an auction, and even that didn't sell.
Yeah, that was weird. I was trying to understand all of that too, how all of that works, because I forget which one of you. Somebody has shown me some of this stuff of all the different layers that house went into, and it was sold and auctioned and blah
Mhm.
blah blah with the state or whatever, and it's like what? I don't know, but I mean we're talking about a murder, an alleged murder suicide. Circumstances might be different. I really don't know. I don't know if people were just waiting for the to drop the property value to almost nothing so they could come in there, remodel, and make a big profit. I don't know. Hey Shua, thanks for joining us in the
You
YouTube
might
chat.
you might talk to Dan about it, because he was the one who explained the whole Dakota County Sheriff's Office involved in the sale.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, good. If we do our next conference call, maybe next weekend, I'll see if he can kind of break that down for us or give us some of that stuff so we can break it down.
Sorry, Justin, for interrupting you earlier.
No, you didn't interrupt. It was completely fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
So I put the Dropbox of my findings in the YouTube public chat. So if anybody wants to pull those up and take a look at those.
I'm not
So
seeing
like
it there. I don't see it.
I'll kind of discuss those findings just a little bit if you
Okay.
don't. So in when an aggregator gets this information, it's really hard for a mistake like this to happen, especially when you consider the how common Kamel's name is. Kamel is the only person in this country that possesses the name Kamel Alam or Kamel Crowley. But what's really strange is that her record on her public record has changed. Her name has changed from Kamel Crowley to Kamel Alam, which that doesn't add up at all, especially after her death. Because the only way that would happen is either the aggregator starts referencing an older public record before she was married, or for some reason she met some divorce record may be in there. I'm not sure if a person can get divorced post-mortem, but yeah, I mean, it's something to consider in that regard. I'm trying not to speak too much about things I don't know. Also, Kamel had received, according to the aggregator Antelius, according to she received a doctorate in sleep study, I believe, in 2016 from University of Minnesota Twin Cities. So I found that very strange.
Very
I
strange.
did notice the doctorate on her background. Was that with Entellus?
Yes, I'm currently got a application pending with TransUnion to get into their private investigation software. It's probably going to take a month or two for them to process my application. So once I get that, I will compile my findings and I will share them.
Nice.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know I really didn't explain too much about my background. I was kind of afraid, kind of paranoid at first that I really don't mind if somebody like gets a hold of me or whatever. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I'm pretty paranoid, so that's one thing I'm gonna have to ask you to bear with me with. I'm a soldier in the United States Army. Before I joined, I did private investigation work, very limited. Bail enforcement, and I did private security. So I know a little bit about the investigation lingo, not much, but a tiny bit. There is one more point I want to bring up while we still have time. In that folder I shared, there is 2 screenshots of Kamel's website, Mind Body Dietitian. I shared this with David as well. It shows that her copyright was renewed between the time of 2014 and 2015. Generally, you don't need to renew a copyright on a website. So it probably means that the new website was paid for, or the subscription for the website was paid for, and it just updated the copyright with that, or something else could have happened. There's really no need to update the year on a copyright, because once you set it in, it's good, no matter what year it is. So long as it's not, I believe, I'm not sure the exact litigation on that, but that's.
Hey, Justin.
Yes, ma'am.
I do not see the link that you posted. I don't see it at all anywhere.
Yeah, me
Is it
either.
in? Should be in the YouTube chat.
Oh, maybe it's not in the live chat. Maybe it's in the. No,
I don't
I
think you
don't
can
see
do
it.
comments until after the thing is done. But it's
Yeah,
not
that's
showing
true.
up
I
on
can't see
mine.
Oh, I
comments on
see it
that.
here. Let me try and post it now. Okay, I had my top chat. Is it there now?
Let me see.
I'm not seeing
Come
it.
on.
No.
I
If
don't
you're
know
not
why.
able to share it, would you please share it with Craig and he can dole it out to us, please?
Sure. Yeah, I could do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, here I'll put it in the conference call chat, Greg. All right. Yeah, I do.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I see it in the conference call chat, but for some reason I just don't see it in the other one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me
Yes.
see if I can get on to the chat for the conference call.
Let's see.
It's
Okay,
strange
let me
why
just grab
YouTube
that.
won't upload it. Oh, I know why. YouTube has
They
spam
suck.
software
Yeah.
that breaks apart links. It won't let those.
Yeah.
Little.
You have to. I think in YouTube you have to. Like put everything except for the .com, and if you do that, then maybe it'll work. People can just add the .com in there.
All right.
Even know if I can sign in here. Don't look at my password.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Don't look at my password.
I thought it was publicly available.
I don't even know if this is right or not. I haven't logged in here in like
I
years.
don't want to leave. I want to go to the chat.
Oh, and by the way, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, Miss.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that.
It can be interesting. I can
That's so weird.
definitely
Oh,
attest to
shit.
that.
Well, the Army has a special place in my heart. I was an EMT and did the vast majority of my work on Army base hospitals.
No kidding.
Yeah, Fort Bragg, Darnell, Fort Carson. So yeah.
I'm over at Fort Bliss.
Oh.
I think we have a witch doctor in our hospital. A buddy of mine, his knee popped out, and he literally tried to step up 4 inches. His knee popped out, and I had to run him to the aid station on McGregor Range
my
Complex,
goodness.
and they gave him a 4-day. They didn't even give him any time off from work. They sent him right back to work.
Oh, that
Wow.
sounds about right.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Not
That's
cool.
how we do in the military. And I've just been trying to get seen by a provider to get some administrative work done, and I'm coming up with some crazy ideas to get seen, but I don't know. It's free healthcare.
Get it while you can.
And Motrin 800.
You already know.
Wow.
So, Greg, I see you brought that up on the screen now.
Yep, I got the screen up here. Go ahead and guide us around. What are we looking at here?
Let me jack the quality up on my YouTube browser. Okay, so this right here is the let me see. This is David's background report, and it pinged back that he had 2 addresses current as of 10th of July. So from what would ping back on that, I did a little research. So public records such as either tax records or utility payments would ping back that. So somebody's probably still using his name.
Well, they are, because somebody's paying his cell phone bill.
Yes, that I remember going over that on a few videos back. So anybody, if I'm pretty sure if somebody else were paying the bill, it wouldn't ping back as him having a current address. So generally, when you're paying a bill, whoever's paying into that has to have a reference address and that name, and so that's the reason why that address is coming back. The two at either 700 Maple Lane or 867 North Front Street.
Wow.
It could be somebody just still paying in his name and using their finances. So I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that those are the conditions for which that would ping back. And ever since he's passed, he has lived at quite a few different places.
Okay. I'm going to go here to the next slide that you've given us here. And we will make sure, if it's okay with Justin, maybe we'll figure out a way we can post this into the group and people can kind of look at it for themselves. This one bothered me here. I do not like this. I don't like anything about this one that we're looking at here. This looks fake to me.
Oh, that's horrible.
This looks like
Yeah.
somebody is just this is troll central here. That's just my view.
Yes, and I found
Why would anybody
reference-
do that? That's tacky. Sorry, I'm sorry.
She's not even
Well,
in
you have
Waco,
to be
Texas.
a special kind of
No.
stupid to be a troll. Sorry. Not sorry.
Oh, we have a special name for that.
But this listing has been up for 2 years, and I just saw the date on it, and I was like, well, she's supposed to be dead, so why would anybody make that kind of accusation?
That date is kind of weird too.
Oh, yeah. April 20th has always been. Oh, good
420.
catch. Good catch.
420.
Not that I would know anything about that.
Uh-huh.
We want some of those brownies, Greg.
I am in California.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so now we're looking at what are we looking at here in this third slide? Oh, mind body dietitian. I just want to say one thing here because I got kind of called out when this case first came out because I have a music company called Mind Body Soul, and people thought that was weird. It is a coincidence. This changed my mind about. We used to always say there are no coincidences. That is a coincidence. I just want to clarify that. Go ahead.
Uh-huh. You're that special kind of person, aren't you, Greg?
I'm a special kind of something. Yeah.
Let's give us a T. Give us an R.
What does it spell?
Oh.
Okay, so this is the mind. Go ahead, Justin. I want to hear your view on
Yes,
this.
sir. This is just the reference to her receiving to Kamel receiving the PhD in sleep study in 2016. Now, this I would find very, very the circumstances behind this are really shady because being that Kamel is the only person in the nation to have the name that she has, as well as just the circumstance of the year, as well as the education, because sleep study is kind of in line for which the degree she had before, which was in dietitian with dietary work, because it's both revolves around the body itself. It would be pretty easy to transfer over that and to get a degree in that, so that's kind of coincidental as well. What else can I say about this? It says she's still the current owner of the Mind Body Dietitian company that she had. I can't say anything about that because I don't have much information on that. But it's just if this were to be a mistake in adding, it would be, I would say it'd be like 1 in 100,000 because I haven't yet got in contact of the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, to see if in fact they did have somebody with this name graduate, but it could easily be a case of stolen identity or something to that effect, because if you use somebody else's identity to go and get a degree, I mean there's a lot of schooling that you're skipping. So I could see somebody writing on the back of a deceased person to do that, but that's really all else I can say about that. It's all speculation.
Right. We're just talking here, trying to figure out what's real and what's not.
And
Yeah.
Justin did pull the correct Camille because the information, mine also showed this, and my information showed that she was connected to David and his relatives.
But
So
here's
this wasn't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, but this is what I found strange. So I think probably about maybe a day or two, or I think it was the exact day that I was pulling this record. Intellius has completely changed its guided interface. So Intellius looks nothing like this anymore, and there's only about a fourth of the information that you see here currently available on Intellius.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I saved it when I did.
Back it up offline. Print it out. Paper files.
Yeah.
Well, I got rid of that system because there was a lot of like, junk data in it, and I didn't like the background. Like you would get the known predators around them, and that would take up a lot of space when you downloaded it, and I didn't like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That can be especially, it just clogs up, which that's what, once people use a background service, that's generally kind of what they're going for a lot of times to see if, what kind of criminal offenses there may be.
Mm-hmm.
And people who might live around them, which this software used to do a really good job of doing that. It doesn't do that anymore.
The other thing, unless anybody else has anything else on this page that we're looking at here, the only other thing that I'm kind of curious about is right up here where it says clinical dietitian, and it says from November 2002 up until December 2014. What was that? Was that a gunshot?
No, there's somebody over here lighting off fireworks. Sorry, I forgot to mute my microphone.
It's like, what the heck? Justin,
Oops.
you're not
Okay,
broadcasting from the front lines, are you?
Who lives in
This day
Chicago?
and time, you never know.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was in Oakland for a second.
I always forget to mute the stupid microphone, and then they let them off at all hours of the night. It's like, stop it.
Where do they get them from? What are they doing over there?
I have no idea, but it's...
That's what they do on a Friday night?
Well, yeah, sometimes. Okay, it's usually every night, but yeah. So okay, I'm muting the microphone. You guys go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, so December 2014, I wonder why. I don't know. That just seemed kind of odd to me because I had thought that she didn't have her license anymore. So it was still active at that point?
So what I've learned from that and doing a little work with that, I know she had a LinkedIn. I haven't been able to access her LinkedIn. So she may have put on her LinkedIn that she quit working there in 2014 and she didn't bother putting in an exact date.
Okay.
That very well could be what happened there. It's just that these aggregators, these little background check sites, that Joe Schmo and anybody can get on, they really just pull whatever records they can, and whether or not they're are accurate or not really isn't any concern up to the website.
Gotcha.
Which is the reason why I'm trying to get on TransUnion. What were you saying?
Catherine, wasn't there a phone call that she made to the state board back in December?
Oh, I'll have to look that up for the next time.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're running out of time. I really don't want Greg to keep cutting into his wife's time.
No, it's
but,
okay. She's giving me another 30 minutes, so we're good.
She's too nice, man. She's way too nice.
It's very important to have a supportive wife. Very important.
It is,
really
and
is.
She's amazing.
She has been. She's been great. I hope she keeps it up. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, now she's going to come and say, okay, that's it, your time's off now.
All right, now you got 30 seconds. Right.
Okay, I'll see if I can...
I have one
Um,
question that I want to throw out there that really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but
Go
I'm
for it.
just curious. Um, Kamel, she was cremated?
Mm-mm. No.
No,
So
she was buried.
Kamel and Ronnie were buried.
Only Kamel was
No,
buried.
just Camille.
So okay, so they buried Kamel, but they cremated Rennie.
Correct.
Yes.
Why would they cremate Rennie?
Good question. Good question. I
I
don't.
mean, that's strange. I mean, I would think
It
there
is.
would have been a real big fight between the families with the belief, the Muslim faith, that they wouldn't want their granddaughter cremated. So I find that weird.
Yeah.
David and Ranny were cremated almost immediately, and Camille was sent to Texas to be buried.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Okay.
From like the profile that I get from the alums is that they're fairly moderate Muslims. They're
Right.
kind of like American Jews that are non-practicing, I would say. And they're
Oh, okay.
they're people very common like that. That's just the kind of vibe that I get from reading about them and listening to them speak. They don't really seem to be overtly religious. They don't cover themselves. So the women and the female alums don't cover themselves. So I think they're just mainly just moderate practicers at best. So
Okay.
I'm not really sure how into that they would be. But yeah.
Like Baptists that dance and drink.
Pretty much. Yeah, it could be very well.
I can say that I'm Baptist.
Okay, Sophia, I looked it up, and Camille did not make a phone call to any university or anything.
No, the state board.
Okay, no state board
college.
either. In
From
December,
any
you're
of the
talking about
phones?
December of 2014, correct?
I thought it was in December.
Because the only calls she made were to Banfield Hospital, Pet Hospital, and Charter Communications.
Now, what
She
about
didn't
the
call
other
Wells
phone?
Fargo?
That was in oh yeah, no, yes, she did make 2 calls to Wells Fargo. You are correct.
Gosh. Okay, then it had to have been November then. Let me go back to my files.
Go back to the stack of papers. The mount.
One, she made a call to them in December.
Greg, do you want to go ahead and just go through my stack and we
Sure.
can finish with what I have to present?
Absolutely. We're on the fourth one here.
Yeah, so this is a screenshot of Kamel's old website. It was taken down, I believe, sometime in 2015. You can pull it up on Wayback Machine if you so wish. The thing that struck me as odd here was the copyright date on the bottom updating. I think I said something about that already. But the last snapshot of the website, see when that was. I'm on the Wayback Machine right now. You have to bear with me. I'm having to use my cell phone as a tether spot because my internet network here is just trash. But the 2 pictures there is just the copyright date at the bottom is all that's pertinent to those.
Okay. Copyright 2014, Mind Body Dietitian LLC. I wonder what happened with that LLC. Now we should be able to look up an LLC, right? Public
Yes.
data.
It'd also be pertinent to find who else shared liability with her in that company.
And this 214, that's her number, right? That's the number in one of the phone records? 214-470-5794.
I'll have you read that back to me here in a moment. Let's see, David Crowley. Kamel Crawley. No, that wasn't listed in any of the public records that I have.
Really?
Yeah, her current number is 651-644-8457.
Oh, now I gotta look in my mountain of data now here. I have a nice little book with 2 pages of the all the phone numbers. I'm curious about this phone number here. So, does anybody know what the MP next to Kamel Crowley's name, MPH, our registered dietitian nurse, I guess, EPC, what is all that?
Oh, that's on our website.
I have no idea.
No idea? I mean, I guess we could look it up too, but who has time for that? Who has time to look things up when I can just ask everybody else and then steal all of your answers, pretty much?
Where did you find that, Greg?
So right here on the screenshot here, at the bottom.
Registered and licensed dietitian.
That's the only one I can think of. MP miles per hour. She's a.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm gonna go for that.
MPH.
And I can't see that phone number, Greg, because it's so small. Was that 214-470-5794?
214-470-5794, yes.
Okay, that was Kamel's old phone number.
Okay.
An MPH is a Masters of Public Health. So just her Masters of Public Health, what is that in exactly? So it's a 2-year program. It's not a clinical degree. So what is the? So like an MPH, a Masters of Public Health would study condition specific sicknesses. So say for example, getting sick in a hospital. That's just according to Wiki though. So
okay. It's like a licensed dietitian maybe for LD, and then CLT. I'm not sure what that one.
She had quite the stack of certifications.
Yeah. She's certainly.
CLT, certified laboratory technician. I'm guessing.
Interesting.
CLT and leap therapist, they tend to go to, or at least they go together on this website here. The website called Certified Leap Therapist. Okay, so her being a dietitian, a leap therapist would deal with ailments such as irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. So her being a dietitian, those two would go hand in hand. So that's not at all strange. That's actually pretty routine.
Okay.
But the last snapshot of her website, I believe, was in March of 2016.
Well, okay, looking at number 5, the 5th image that you have here. Now all of a sudden the copyright has changed from 2014 on slide 4. On slide 5, the copyright is 2015. How does that work?
Yes.
Doesn't that show plans for the future too?
I would say it does. It could have been automatically renewing, but
that's true.
I spoke in error when I said the last snapshot was in 2016. Let's see what this one is here. I'm just going through the records on Wayback Machine right now to try and see when the last instance of her website was, and I think the last instance of her website staying as we see it in these screenshots here was on the 23rd of April in 2015. After that, it goes dark, and some Chinese company acquired it.
Oh.
So usually when you buy a domain name, you usually buy it for a year, and if the copyright changed like that, it generally means it renewed.
Right. If it's on an auto and then somebody cancels it 6 months later or 1 year later, or the credit card, doesn't go through.
Exactly.
Okay, I see that. All right, let's go to the 6th slide here. What can you tell us about this one? I'm gonna see if I can make it a little bigger for everybody here.
So the last one is merely just it's just an address for the current address for her where she still has records popping up, which comes from the home of Francis Crawley. I forget, is Francis David's brother?
Mm-mm.
No, never heard of
No,
Francis.
Francis is a relative.
Is it?
A relative, okay. Why would a distant relative, not so much a distant relative, well, why would somebody outside immediate family have any of Kamel's information or any of her affairs like this? It just doesn't make any sense. Huh?
That's a good question, though.
And it says her current email has been at Health Source Solutions, the company she quit working at in 2014. I think, let me go back to the other slide here. MindBody. Yes, the one that she quit working at in December of 2014. But why would, I don't know. That's definitely strange. You would think that the website, Intellius, would have grabbed her information from her MindBody website, which was Kamel at mindbody.attention.com. But it doesn't seem to be that way.
Now, what about these phone numbers here that we're seeing? The two contact numbers.
I haven't researched them at all. I haven't done anything with those, to be honest.
Does anybody have the
I do.
numbers up? I'm gonna pull those up. So I want to see. Go ahead, Justin.
No worries. Health Source Solutions. I did look into healthsourcesolutions.com.
That's who she had called in November 11th.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Health source.
She may
I
have
was
been.
mistaken.
She may have been employed. I'm sorry.
I was mistaken when I said the state. It was actually Health Source Solutions.
Oh.
Okay.
And what do they do? Biometric screenings, flu shots. The heck?
I mean, this is probably where she was being a lab technician at, as well as doing what was that? Where she did work as a leap therapist, and what was the other thing? And when she did her public health work, that's probably where she did all that at. Was at Health Source Solutions. So.
Our speaker series. Huh.
She's not. There's no trace of her remaining on the website.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if we ran Health Source Solutions through the Wayback Machine, we could go back to a point in time where she was on the website.
And they've moved. They're now in Plymouth, Minnesota. We could call them. Oh, it's 5 p.m. Past 5 p.m. Sorry.
That's pretty late.
Pretty late for them. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to learn more about this place here. What type of events do they do? Conference. Health promotion conference. Nice website, though.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm glad that they're transparent and they post everything about their staff. I'm gonna go onto the Wayback. The Wayback Machine has a lot of references to this website. I'm gonna go back to 2015 and see if Kamel was still mentioned there.
I don't think these two numbers are one of their numbers. So we got a 651-644-8457. That's not on here. And then the other number is 0740. That sounds familiar. That's not on here either. I don't know what those numbers are.
Strange.
Yeah, that is.
2014, 2013. Search.
Who owns? Let me see. Hey, Shea Wolfies, thanks for staying up with us here. I'm just reading some of the comments on the YouTube here. They may have buried Kamel in Islamic cemetery. I wonder if that's why I've been having a hard time finding where she was actually buried or buried. Not sure what all that's
I thought
about.
she was buried on private property.
Yeah, that's what an Islamic cemetery would qualify as, I would think. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because I don't want to say it on publicly. Anyway, I'm just finding it interesting that things keep changing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this thing is all ever changing, even after their death, which is very, very strange.
Yeah, there should be no activity after. Go ahead.
Has anyone looked at their bills? Because one thing that I was thinking about, and I'm not saying I believe they were there for 3 weeks, but you think about, okay, most billing cycles for your electricity, is like a month. So has anyone looked at their bills to see if like they were on auto pay or like, where they were in their billing cycle? Did someone pay their electricity? I mean, that might be able to like debunk this timeline.
We have their financial records. I'm not sure who's gone through them or who might be. If anybody can answer that question, please do. I mean, we have a 276 pages.
Where would I
You
find
can find
those?
them on Greg's website, and
Okay.
there are some that are auto pay, and then there's others where they did receive a hard copy in the mail, and you can see that there's like a pink, maybe 2 pink envelopes for a past due that's in the mail. But
Okay.
everything else that was on auto pay was being paid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now. Pulling up the pages. I really, this is one of the things that I really still have not gotten a chance to go thoroughly through yet. So I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff in here, though, for sure.
And we only have a snapshot of the joint account and David's account. We have nothing on Kamel whatsoever.
Huh.
I found Kamel's LinkedIn. It's still up. It says she's self-employed, and it still says that she has a Mind Body Dietitian LLC in her employment. However, has anybody researched Park Nicollet Health Partners?
What's the name?
Mm-mm.
Park Nicollet Melrose Institute. Here,
No. Mm-mm.
I'll put the link in the. I'll put her link in her link for her LinkedIn chat.
Park Nicollet. What's the last part of it?
Park Nicollet Melrose Institute.
Melrose.
Her LinkedIn is in the.
Okay.
In the conference call chat.
Eating disorder hotline. Parknicollet.com. Let's look at that. Melrose Center.
Oh, hold up here. Hey, Greg, you're showing on Kamel's social media now.
What do you mean?
I'm taking a photo of this.
What do you mean? Are we time traveling here?
No. I guess because you link her on your website. You're now pulling up on her background for been verified.
Whoa.
Okay.
I mean, that's just what those what these aggregators do. They just automatically scour the internet and they pull whatever similarities and relative information they can. So it's the reason why they're not very reliable.
There's a lot of things involved in this park. I'm looking at their website right now. Look at all this stuff. That's
I think that's
good.
where she did it. She probably did her internship there as well.
This is amazing. No
Holy
wonder.
moly,
No
I
wonder
can't
she
even
was.
read that.
Yeah, she's. Yeah, she was.
Was she involved in this? I can't read it. The writing is way too small.
Yeah, it's probably too small for you. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
She worked for Park Nicolet
A little
all the way
better.
until June of 2014. So I'm going to go and reference their website on Wayback Machine for April.
Hey Paulette, thanks for joining us in the YouTube chat here. We are live on the Gray Stage YouTube channel. We're all just chatting here. Justin, Pansy, Christy. Is that what it is? Is that right? Christy, not Christine?
Yeah.
Okay. And Sophia, Christy, Sophia, myself, and all of you in the chat room, She-Wolf and Paulette, thank you all for joining us here. Keeping this case going, researching, because that's what is needed. Somebody's got to do it. This is an amazing
Justin.
Yes.
healthcare. Go ahead.
Francis Crowley is either a grandfather or a great uncle. 81 years old. They don't have him down as deceased, so he must be still alive.
I see. That's really strange. It's very, very strange. Because like I have a grandmother who passed. She passed in December, and her phone bill was paid all the way up until I think up in here until recently, and she wasn't listed as current on Intellius, so I found that weird as well. That somebody from way back then, 2014, beginning 2015, would still have active records, as opposed to now. Let's see.
And when I went into AT&T, I was asking about codes. When he put in the phone number, that's where it showed that the account was still being paid for. The account had been put on hold because they were 30 days behind in the bill. When I went the next day to a different AT&T, they put the number in, and I said, "Oh, it's probably going to show that the account is on hold." And he said, "No, it's not on hold. It's been paid."
That's really weird.
And that date was when? What's the date?
Oh, that was a couple months ago.
Okay.
Were you able to ever to find if how that account was being paid for, whether it was debit card or bank account?
No. We never got into the account. It was only he was putting the number in, and then that was as far as we got. I didn't have a PIN code or anything like that, and then I told him that I wasn't going to even try because the rest of that is illegal.
Yes, it is.
And so I wasn't even going to bother.
I mean, if it's possible to get somebody from AT&T to disclose that information, because I don't believe it would technically be illegal since the person is technically deceased, because you can't violate the privacy of someone who's deceased unless you are committing some kind of criminal act,
like fraud or something.
Yes. Which makes me think that the reason why these that Kamel and David still have current information and information being updated is because they might be currently being defrauded right now.
Wow.
like Kamel's, somebody's probably piggybacking off of her credentials. It's very well possible. Or
Why would somebody do that? Like, what would be the purpose?
so
There's some
somebody,
unscrupulous people out there.
what immediately comes to mind when I consider such an action would be to want to be able to get access to the perks of what a degree like that would have to offer without having to go to school all those years. It's easy to fraud a university. Um, so I would imagine that somebody just mainly has a fake ID that has her name and the picture of whoever has that ID, relative age, and is currently probably doing work in sleep study.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in here real quick, guys. To let you know I'm gonna jump off, and thanks for letting me be part of this. And I will listen to the rest of it tomorrow.
Pleasure.
Greg, don't stay on late.
I won't.
This is your mother talking.
We'll only go a few more minutes
That's sad.
here.
I am
Yeah.
old enough to be your mom, so listen, young man. Okay. Anyway,
will.
good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Thank
Good
you.
night, Catherine.
Good night, Catherine.
Okay.
I have a really freaky question, and I've looked at so much stuff, and so y'all don't think I'm a weirdo, but I watched this one video that someone posted on Facebook, and they were talking about how it is possible for noises and voices and sounds to be piped into your home through
Yes.
electrical devices.
Yes. Yes.
And I listened to it, and it was really freaky. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like playing all of these sounds and voices that he was recording. Now, he could have been manufacturing this. I don't know. I'm just saying, has anyone else seen that video?
No.
I know about it.
Yeah.
I know it's possible. My daughter had a, this is going to sound weird, but she had a baby monitor, and this is when she was living with roommates, and she had it downstairs, and the baby was asleep upstairs. And all of a sudden she heard this laughing and babbling, and she thought the baby was awake, and so she ran upstairs, but the baby was not awake. And then she heard somebody talking to the baby, and it was supposedly picking up somebody nearby, but we didn't know anybody else who had a child that was surrounding them. So
Any
Yeah, that's
appliance.
weird. I was just wondering if that had anything to do with the voices that were going on that she was hearing, because they, so obviously tried to make her look like she was crazy. Tried to make it look like they both were losing their minds and stuff. And so, I mean, if, obviously those recordings are real. I mean, it's his voice and it's her voice, but someone could have been doing that to them.
Oh yeah, like targeting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very
Yeah.
possible thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Any new appliance that you buy now that is electronically anyway, they put that in there now. You can watch your every move and listen to every word you say.
That's right.
And it
They can
also-
do it through apps on your phone. They can do it through your computer.
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
it's very, very easy. Any electronics that's a smart electronic, they can do it.
and through your electrical wiring in your house.
And
Believe it or not.
supposedly, what this guy was saying is it's done so quietly a lot of the time
Yes.
that you hear it on a subliminal level.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
auditorily hear it, so you start hallucinating and thinking your house is possessed, basically, and stuff like that. And so I mean, I just wasn't sure if that was. I mean, I'm just because you're paranoid doesn't mean everyone's not. I don't think it's you. But I mean, I'm a paranoid person. I don't own, any of that stuff. I don't have a smart TV, so I thought I was safe. But this guy said they can even do it analog. That it doesn't have to be through like the little box that you get through Amazon or through a smart TV or anything. Because I thought I was being smart and going, well, I'm not having any of that stuff.
It's very dangerous these days, I'm telling you.
It is.
Very dangerous.
That's why people love to go out into the wilderness where there is none of that. Of course, they're building all that out there now too, but it's just basically radio waves. I mean, when I worked in radio, they would always talk about that stuff, about low frequencies that really you can't really hear. You can hear them, but you can't. They sound like ringing, like ears ringing, and just all that stuff. And that's all old stuff. So I can only speculate on how that has grown from way back when.
Yeah, that's exactly what this guy was saying, and he was saying that he has worked in the music industry for a long time, and so he knows about this stuff, and it just blew my mind because that was something that never even occurred to me. I mean,
have you
level.
Have you guys ever read up on that 5G?
Yeah.
That was wait for somebody to bring that up.
Yes.
Yeah,
that is going to be whether you like it or not.
I think it's 5G has already been known to kill birds, so we'll see where that goes.
Right.
Wow.
Well, friends, that's all I pretty much have for this evening. If I have anything more, I'll be sure to present it. I'm just trying to get all the any kind of change in public record, anything like that. I'll be sure to try and keep note of.
That's great.
As soon as I'm able to get my TransUnion account up, I'm not sure how long that will take, but I'll try to pull as much from that as I can. And with TransUnion, anything such as marriage records should for sure show up. It's kind of strange that there was not any marriage records publicly available in regards to David and Kamel that I could find. I don't know. Were you able to find anything like that besides the one that was hanging up on the wall, Greg?
No.
They got married in a time when things like that were being logged online, so it's very strange.
It was still kind of early, right? Still some of the earlier days, but yeah.
I think it was like 2008, wasn't it? They
got
married.
Yep, I believe it was 2008.
Well, thank you for sharing your information tonight, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad that we've got people that are, interested in finding justice, even though every day this case gets older. We lose a little bit of chance every day, though, but we just got to keep trying.
That's right.
All right, friends. Hope everything goes well with y'all. Hope y'all have a good week, and look forward to speaking to y'all soon.
Thank you again, man. We'll see you soon.
Again.
Yeah, all of y'all.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right.
Good night. Thank y'all.
Night.
All right. Well, any final words here? I'm gonna keep to my word. Catherine's gonna make me stay to my word here. But if anybody has any final words here, we will go there, and then we'll shut this down, and hopefully come back and do this again soon. I thought this went well.
Yeah, we're getting a little further into it.
Okay. All right. We're getting closer.
We just need different people in here with different ideas,
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank y'all for letting me in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Good hearing from you.
Yeah, I thought you brought some really good stuff to the table. So it's been a really good chat here. So if anybody,
I'm gonna tell y'all good night.
All right, I'll say good night. And any final words here, or else I'm gonna shut this puppy down.
Just like to thank everybody listening, and please keep out there researching because we need all possible researchers on this.
Yeah, we
And
do.
all the eyes that we can get on these files. We really could use it.
That's right.
Yes, we can.
I'm sure I could have said that a better
Exactly.
way.
Yeah.
Christy, any final words?
So
Good
thank
night,
you all.
everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Pansy.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks, Christy.
Good night.
Okay, good night.
I did. I mean, I don't want to open up a whole other discussion, but I'm just wondering if I can get a really quick
Sure.
answer. Because it was on the findings that you posted, and I think you and I kind of talked back and forth about it a little bit. But the on the wall there were no latent fingerprints. Any thoughts on that?
We have problems here because you have the police who were there at the scene saying that there were fingerprints. Then you have obviously the Minnesota BCA Joe Cooksley, their crime scene team lead, saying that there weren't. So we got a big problem there.
Okay, and there's not really anything we could do about it because it's not there anymore.
Well, maybe we can use it to
Yeah.
get the case reopened because obviously
Yeah.
you can't have it both ways. Now, everybody can look at that photo, and what does everybody think? Are there latent
I think
prints?
a rag or something, an object that was wadded up was used, is my opinion.
Let's see if I can pull
I
that
don't think
one
it was a hand. I think it was some kind of cloth or paper or something like that. So where is that?
Well, where's the bucket that was supposedly used? If, like to collect the
Exactly.
blood.
Yeah. And that opens up a whole other thing that I'll have to ask about next time we talk because I don't want to keep everyone on here.
Definitely.
forever.
Yeah.
And shouldn't there be more blood all over the wall and all over the back of that couch and everything?
Yeah, and like the garland that's on the back of the couch that has the lights on it, and that wasn't tested for anything. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but if you look at the couch, it looks like garland was hanging on the wall there.
I think those are Christmas
if you look
lights.
to the right of the couch, yeah, they're plugged into the wall, and I don't see why anyone would have them laying across the back of the couch. I think they were actually on the wall. So if they were on the wall, why didn't they check those for prints or for blood?
Or
Well-
why didn't they just remove the clock so they could finish writing a la ooh?
Yeah, exactly.
All great
But,
questions.
yeah, I have a lot of questions, but I mean, I'll just have to start private messaging everyone and stuff. And I've been mainly messaging Catherine and Greg because, sad to say, I'm extremely paranoid myself. So,
Well,
I
you
mean,
can
I'm
feel
glad
free
to
to
be
ask
able
me.
to be involved in the talk and get to know people so that I feel okay talking to other people so I don't bombard Greg.
That's no problem
I'm
there.
still
You
on
can
here.
feel free to message me if you want, Christy, and I can bounce some ideas off your head, and you can bounce some off of mine.
Oh, that would
I'm
be
in the
wonderful.
If
I
you
wanna
look
make a
at the
comment.
list where Dan welcomes everybody, my name is right on there.
Oh, okay, great. That's awesome.
Pansy, are you
I
still
want to
there?
make a comment.
Go for it.
Yes, I want to make a comment on these plants that's sitting here in the corner
Yeah.
by the couch.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wilted.
I think they're fake. You talking about the ones on the left
You
side
think
here?
so?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think those are fake plants.
Well, they're sure growing good.
They look pretty good.
Yeah. I hope they're fake because they don't look wilted.
Yeah, and I think this
Oh,
is
and then-
this is how they were found. Go ahead.
And I was just going to let y'all know, I don't know if y'all saw it, but I live in Alabama, and the University of Auburn is like one of the best veterinary schools in the nation. And I spoke to a teacher out there and a veterinarian out there about all the bone stuff and everything.
Mhm.
And I wrote a big long thing on the page about it. But essentially with him being a regular dog eating normal food, I was told by an expert. I mean, it's one expert, but I've talked to a couple of other vets in my community too, and the consensus is that that dog would not be able to digest that amount of bone.
That's right.
Also, when you have a moment, look at the basement pictures, and you'll see the water heater and bags of salt next to the water heater. Would the dog really be able to drink the toilet water and any water coming from the faucets if it had salt added to it? They were drinking bottled water. I'm fairly certain that
I find that really interesting that they were like, so, oh, there's nothing down in the basement to deal with. I mean, they weren't real, like, kind of, and so that leads me to wonder about, well, I'm still tossing around, were they removed from the house or were they taken downstairs? I do believe that their blood was drained out of their bodies. But I have not shared it because it is a horribly graphic photo. I mean, it's absolutely horribly graphic. I mean, I can barely even look at it, but I'm not saying this is what happened. But what the photo is it is a woman in the Middle East that married a non-Muslim man. And they are holding her, and they have slit her throat, and they are draining her blood into like a big giant bucket. And that is punishment for marrying a non-Muslim man. Now, I'm not saying I think this was an honor killing. What I'm saying is I think that it was someone attempted to make it look like one, and that's why I think that happened to them.
That's been one of the theories of why they tried to shut everything down so quickly, and in this city, in that state, in Minnesota, it was a very sensitive time, and nobody wanted to hear anything bad. Yeah, it still is. You're right. They didn't want to hear the bad stuff about any Muslims or, ripping people's heads off, chopping people's heads off, stuff like that, and stuff that I find to be very satanic. So I was very worried about that. There's a lot of things like that. So it's definitely.
Not that I'm pointing fingers, but there's a high Somali residency in Minnesota.
Yeah, you just had that one cop who got sent to prison. I think he's going to do at least nine years. He shot some woman who reported a crime. This guy was a cop, and he was like part of some special program. And Dan did a whole video. Dan's done a couple videos on that, but that was one of the fascinating cases because it was like, okay, finally, we finally had some type of justice for this lady, and because for the longest time I couldn't figure out why she got murdered. She hears somebody possibly being raped. She calls cops. The cops don't show up. She calls them again. They finally show up. There's two cops in this cop car. The cop in the passenger side pulls out his gun, reaches over and shoots this lady. This lady comes up to the driver's side window. So he pretty much almost shot his fellow cop. It's just very weird stuff. Basically, it's a to me what I thought after all of that is, and a lot of this stuff here is too, it's a training issue of how they are being trained, what they're being trained for. And I really hope that this Crowley case, like other cases, can be used to help train cops, to help train people for some of these things. If nothing else, they need to learn from this. There were things that should have been done in this case that were not done. And I hope that
Mhm.
not only officers in that state, but officers countrywide, worldwide, can look at this case and learn from it and make sure that they don't do all of the bad things that were done in this case. At the same time, I am hoping to use a lot of the stuff that they got wrong to help figure out a way to reopen this case.
I'm praying that happens.
Me
I
too.
really
Me
do.
too.
Me too. And
That
if
would
it's
be
God's will, it will.
incredible if they could reopen it.
Mhm.
Okay, Greg.
Yeah.
We've taken
Thank
up a lot
you
of your
so
time.
much for spending your
Got it.
time with us. We really appreciate it.
You got it. And we'll come back here on this same channel here, and I'll let everybody know pretty much the same way that we did now. If anybody wants to join us next time, there will be a special link for everybody in that group, in the Justice for David Crowley and Family group. We'll go live. Obviously we'll have topics if nobody has anything to talk about. We had a lot to cover, so I can't wait to come back next time, and we will continue this topic. I'd love to talk more about the latent prints. I'd love to talk more about some of the occult angles, some of the paranormal stuff, some of the hearing
Mhm.
voices, all of that. It's a very sensitive topic that I've kind of been holding off on, but I think it's time.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, good peeps. I'm shutting this down. Thank you all for joining us, and everybody for listening, for watching on YouTube, and everybody that has been praying for us, and everybody that wants justice, everybody that is truly seeking justice. Thank you all very much, and until next time, have a great night.
Y'all too.
Bye now.
Bye
Bye.
now.